Hello children, welcome to the Bridge Course Digital Lessons. Children, can you tell me who takes all the important decisions of the country? Yes, it's the government who takes all the important decisions of the country for the development of the country and for the betterment of the people. Isn't it children? Now who elects this government? Yes, we the people will elect the government. And from when are we doing this children? Yes, we are doing this after the independence, that is from the year 1947. In 1947, we got independence. By 1950, our constitution was made, and from 1951, the elections are held. Since then, we are electing our own government. So children, do you know we have a different types of government, and today I will be teaching you about these types of government. At the end of this topic, you will be able to define the government, differentiate between parliamentary and presidential types of governments. You will be able to suggest some measures for free and fair elections. You will be able to explain about the laws that are to be made under the central list, state list and concurrent list. And you will be able to differentiate between the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Children, from that time I am talking about the government. Do you know what is government? A government is the system or group of people governing an organized community, generally a state. In our case, that is our country India, the government is governing the whole country. Governing in sense taking up the decisions related to the country and its citizens. Now children, we have two types of government. One is the parliamentary system of government and the other one is the presidential form of government. Our country follows parliamentary form of government. Let me first explain you about the presidential form of government. A presidential system or a single executive system is a form of government in which a head of the government, that is president, leads an executive branch that is separate from the legislative branch. Children, the machinery of government works on the three parts, that is the legislature, executive and judiciary. Legislature makes the laws, executive implements the laws and the judiciary will protect the laws. But when talking about the presidential form of the government, the head of the state is president and he will look after the execution part, that is the implementation part of the laws. This head of the government is in most cases also the head of the state. In presidential countries, the head of the government is elected and is not responsible to the legislature, and the United States is the originator and the primary example of the presidential system. That is children, the presidential form of government is first originated in United States and this model was later followed by the other countries like Argentina, Brazil, Mexico and the Philippines. Now let us learn about the another form of government, that is parliamentary form of government, which is followed in our country India. The constitution provides for a parliamentary form of government in the country in which the parliament is the highest law making body. Children, when talking about our country India children, in government machinery we have three parts, that is the legislature, the executive and the judiciary. Legislature comprises of the parliament and the cabinet ministers. They will be making the laws and the execution is done by the related officers. There are some officers which are appointed by the government and the laws which are made by the parliament will be implemented by these officers as a part of the execution. And then comes the judiciary. The duty of the judiciary is to make sure that the laws which are made by the parliament and which is implemented by the executive body is properly followed by the people or not. And if in case the people are not following it, they have a full right to punish them or to penalize them. Now let us learn about the role of parliament. Our parliament has many important functions to perform. Among them, the making of the laws for the entire country is the most important one. Now children, let me explain you about the different laws which are made by the parliament. They make the policies and the laws related to the forest. Yes children, forest is a very important part for the living things because you can find a beautiful flora and fauna in the forest, and it is also considered as a home for the wild animals, and forests are one of the reasons for the attraction of the rains. So it is the duty of the government to safeguard this forest, and at the same time they will be making some policies and some laws related to the forest, wherein it becomes the duty of the citizen of the country to safeguard it. And due to some reason, if the forest coverage is getting declined, then the government will make sure that the green coverage is increased with the help of the people of the country. And under this scheme of protecting the forest, there are many programs which are taken up by the government. The other policies which are made by the government is related to the natural resources like mines. Do you know children what are mines? Children, there are some metals and there are some things which we find under the ground. Say for an example, gold, sand, coals, etc. So the place under the ground wherein we find these minerals are called as mines. Now these mines does not belong to any one individual of the country. It is natural children. It belongs to the nature, belongs to all the citizens of the country. So here the government makes sure and they will make some policies related to the extraction of these resources from the mines, and at the same time how it will be utilized and in what quantity it will be extracted. Related to that, all the laws will be made by the legislature body. The next comes education. Education is must children for the development of the country and for living a very good life by the citizens. So the laws related to the education will also be made by the government. The government will make sure that each and every citizen of its country is educated so that they can take up the decent life in the future, and at the same time it will help the individuals to take the right decisions in their future. So that's the reason children, education is very important, and to encourage this education the government will be making laws from time to time as per the requirements. The next laws which are made by the government is the relationship with other countries. Children, it is very important to maintain a very good relationship with other countries. Isn't it children? Do you maintain a good relationship with your neighbors? Yes, right? Why do you maintain a good relationship with your neighbors? Yes, so that they will be helping you in the times of the need. Similarly, our country also has to maintain good relations with the other countries. Why? Because at times our people will go to the other countries either for pursuing education or to take up the jobs or for doing some business, and at the same time some people will go to the other countries to visit those places. At the same time the people from other countries will also come to our country, and it will also enhance the economy of the country, because when the people come from the other country to our country, they will be spending money, and because of that our economy will also be generated. So that's the reason our country will be maintaining a good relationship with the other countries. Now they will be making the laws related to the industries. Industries are the backbone of India children, and because of the industries many products are produced in our country. But now you will be wondering, why should the government make the laws related to the industries? Isn't it children? The government has to make the laws related to the industries. Why? Because the raw material which is supplied in these industries are taken up from the natural resources of the country. So if they will not make the laws children, then there are the chances that the industries may extract more amount of raw materials than required, and again it will create a problem in the future. So for that the laws will be made. And at the same time, whatever the products are produced in the industries, first it has to be used in our country and later on it has to be exported. And where it has to be exported and how it is exported, what is the quality of the product produced in the industries of our countries, related to that the laws will be made by the government of India. So that is also one of the area where the laws are made by the parliament. And the another area is agriculture. Agriculture is the main occupation of the people of India since the olden days children. So here now you will be wondering what the government will be doing. government plays a very important role in making the laws related to agriculture. That means the farmers are always supported by the government. The government will help the farmers by supplying free seeds, fertilizers, electricity, etc. And in the times of the drought and some natural calamities, if the farmers are unable to grow the crops and if they are unable to pay the taxes, at that time they will be getting some tax redemption also. And if the farmer has taken some loans from the banks for doing the agricultural work, at that time the government will intervene and they will try to help the farmers in foregoing the loans. So these are some of the areas, children, where the parliament is making the laws. The government are expected to implement the programs in accordance with those policies. That means as far as the parliament is concerned, children, they will be making the laws. But once the parliament make the laws, it will go to the executive body and the executive body has to implement the laws made by the legislature and they have to follow these policies. Now children, let me explain you one of the law which was made by the parliament and which is very relevant to us, that is the laws on education. In 1986, the parliament adopted a national policy on education which guides the programs relating to education till the date. There was one policy, children, which was made in 1986 and till the date, as far as the education department is concerned, these policies are still followed. Again, one more policy was made in the year 2009 and in that the parliament passed the Right of Children to Free and Compulsory Education Act or law in order to ensure that all children get quality education. What is the importance of education? What is the use by the child going to the school when he is unable to make his own food? There were the times when the parents were forcing their children to stop going to the school and go out to do the work. And the children were sometimes working in the very dangerous conditions like working in the glass bangle factory or in the crackers factory, wherein there were many chances that they were spoiling their health. Keeping all these things in the mind, the government has made the law in 2009 making right of children to free and compulsory education. That means every child should go to the school. And to make it more easier for the parents, the government has started supplying the free textbooks, uniforms and even the food, so that the child will be getting the food in the school itself. The child need not go back to the home disturbing the parents for the food also. And the main criteria behind this is that every person of the country should be educated. That means they should have the basic education related to reading, writing and doing the arithmetic. So the idea is that every child must and should go to school and pursue the education. Now based upon this, children, recently the new national education policy is implemented by our government, keeping in view the needs and the changes that has to be taken place in the field of education. One more thing is the multiple ins and multiple out. That means at times the children will not be able to decide which field they want to follow. Sometimes under the influence of other people, they will take up one field. Say for an example, the mathematics or the science field, but later they think that it is very difficult and they don't want to continue with it. Well, if the child think that he is unable to do that, in between he can leave that course and he can join the other courses as well. At the same time, mother tongue has to be given importance. A child can pursue the education in their mother tongue also. Now let us learn about the houses of the parliament. Our parliament is having two houses, that is the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha. Now let us learn about the differences between the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha. Talking about the Lok Sabha, the members of the Lok Sabha are directly elected by the people. Children, do you remember your parents going and casting their votes? So they are casting the votes for the members of the parliament, and the parliament is having two houses, that is Lok Sabha. So your parents are casting the votes for the members of the Lok Sabha. This is at the central level. When coming to the state level, your parents will be casting the votes for the members of the legislative assembly. But well, now we are talking about the central government. So your parents will be casting the votes for the members of the Lok Sabha, and that is called as a direct elections. The members are directly elected by the people of the country. Now talking about the members of the Rajya Sabha, the members of the Rajya Sabha are indirectly elected. That means the members of the parliament and the members of the state legislative assembly will be electing the members of the Rajya Sabha. So it is called as indirect election. There are 545 Lok Sabha seats and these constituencies are divided depending upon the size of the population. So our country is divided into 545 constituencies. So we are having 545 Lok Sabha seats. As far as the members of the Rajya Sabha are concerned, the Rajya Sabha can have a maximum of 250 members. They cannot exceed the limit of 250. Now children, do you remember when these elections are held? Yes, these elections are held in every 5 years. That means the members of the Lok Sabha are elected in every 5 years and the members of the Rajya Sabha are elected for a term of 6 years. Now let us discuss about the power of these two houses. According to the constitution, for most of the matters, the Lok Sabha exercises supreme power. Now let us see how. Any ordinary law needs to be passed by both the houses. That means the laws are made by the members of the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. When the members of the Lok Sabha has made the laws, they will send it for the approval to the house of the Rajya Sabha and the members of the Rajya Sabha has to give the approval. There are the chances that they may vary in the opinion. So in the case, if there are any differences between the two houses, the final decision will be of the Lok Sabha. Do you know why? Yeah, because the number of members are more in Lok Sabha when compared to that of the Rajya Sabha. In Lok Sabha, how many members are there, children? Yes, there are 545 members. And in Rajya Sabha, how many members are there? It is only 250. So because of the maximum members approved the bill, the Rajya Sabha also needs to approve the bill. Now talking about the other power, Lok Sabha exercises more power in money matters. Once the Lok Sabha passes the budget of the government or any other money related law, the Rajya Sabha cannot reject it. Have you ever heard a word called budget? Children, budget is about the income and the expenditure of the family members. That means how much is the money earned every month and how much is the money spent. When talking about the country, it is very, very difficult because the budget will be very big. So it is the duty of the government to make the budget every year and it is related to the income and expenditure of the country. So when this budget is made and it is sent to the house of Rajya Sabha for approval, not only budget, children, any other money related bill, if the members of Lok Sabha are making and sending it to the members of Rajya Sabha. Now talking about the another power, the Lok Sabha controls the Council of Ministers. That means all the members of the Lok Sabha will be controlling the Council of Ministers. And if the majority of the Lok Sabha members say that they don't have the confidence in the Council of Ministers, in that case, all the ministers, including the Prime Minister, have to quit. And in that case, the government will fall. So this is the advantage given only to the members of the Lok Sabha. They can pass the no confidence motion on the government, and if the majority members of the Lok Sabha passes this no confidence motion, at that time the Council of Ministers and the Prime Minister has to quit the office. In case of Rajya Sabha, it is not applicable. So this was all about the power of the house, children, that is Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Now let us discuss about the elections to the Lok Sabha. Lok Sabha has been given this special position because it is directly elected by the people. As I told you, children, we, the people of India, will elect the members of the Lok Sabha and the members of the State Legislative Assembly. So these Lok Sabha is having the special position because it is directly elected by the people. The people will find out the eligibility of the candidate, and if they find the candidate is good enough to serve them and their country as well, then they will be electing them. So this special position is given only to the Lok Sabha. Elections to the Lok Sabha are held every 5 years, and all the citizens who are of 18 years or above can vote in the elections. So any person who is 18 or above of the age has a right to cast the vote. He is considered as an adult an adult person can go and cast the vote. And it is also necessary that they have to register their names in the constituency they live in. That means if the person becomes 18, then he has to go and register himself in the constituency, showing the relevant ID cards and the birth certificate if available. And the election commission will give them one voter identity card. And with the help of these voter identity card, the person can go and cast their votes. Now let me give you some information about the person who can contest for these elections. Now let us learn about the person who is eligible to become the member of Lok Sabha. Any person who is above the age of 25 years can contest in an election to become a member of the Lok Sabha. That means the person should be having the age of 25, he should be properly qualified, he should be the citizen of India, he has to declare all his assets, he should be properly educated, he should be having that service mindedness, and the person should not have any criminal record. Then only the person can contest for the elections to the Lok Sabha. This was all about the eligibility criteria of the people who can cast the votes and the people who want to contest in the elections. Now from that time I am talking about the elections. Do you think it is very easy to conduct the elections, children? No, it is not very easy. And do you know who conducts the elections in our country? There is a separate body which is called as an Election Commission of India. At the central level, we have a Central Election Commission, and at the state level, we have a State Election Commission. Now children, till here we learned about the people who can cast the votes and the people who are eligible to become the members of the Lok Sabha. Now let us learn about the seats that are available in the Lok Sabha. As I told earlier, children, there are 545 Lok Sabha seats in our country, India. That means based upon the population of the country, children, the constituencies are divided and we have total of 545 Lok Sabha seats. The states and the union territories in India are divided into the constituencies and from which the member of the Lok Sabha are elected. States with a larger population have more constituencies than the states with the smaller population. Say for an example, Uttar Pradesh has 80 constituency. Because the population is high in Uttar Pradesh, the number of constituencies are more. On par with Uttar Pradesh, talking about Meghalaya, Meghalaya is having small population, so it is having only 2 constituencies. Now talking about our state Telangana, children, Telangana has 17 constituencies and the Union Territory of Chandigarh has 1 constituency. So children, this was all about the elections to the Lok Sabha. It is very tough and it is a challenging task to conduct the elections. Do you know who conducts the election in our country? There is a separate body which is called as Election Commission of India. At the central level, we have a Central Election Commission and at the state level, we have a State Election Commission. Now let us see what are the challenges that are faced by the Election Commission in conducting free and fair elections. The first challenge is that the proper information about the electing candidate and their policies. Yes, the electing candidate, that means the person who wants to get himself elected as a member of the Lok Sabha has to give all the information about himself. And at the same time, he has to give the clear-cut idea of the policies of what he will do once he is elected as a leader. A person who can represent their interest best in the parliament. Now children, do all the people of the country go and speak in the parliament? No, right? They cannot do that. But to speak on the people's behalf, there should be a person, there should be a representative. So when we are electing our representative, we have to make sure that he will work in our interest, and if we need to pass some information to the other members of the parliament, this person can rightly do it, and he can even question the decisions of the Lok Sabha if he is having any doubt for the betterment of the people. And the voter should not be subjected to any pressure to vote for a particular candidate. That means no person should be pressurized that so and so is my relative, or so and so person belongs to our caste, or so and so person belongs to our religion. No, the voting should not be biased. The eligible and the perfect candidate who is ready to serve the people should be elected as a member of the Lok Sabha, and every person should decide independently. No person should come under the pressure of the others. They should not be influenced by the others. They have to take their own decisions and they have to elect the candidate. And the Election Commission has to take some strict measures to control some illegal practices. Yes, children, many illegal practices will be happening during the times of elections. That means money will be given, some food or any other material gifts will be given to the voters. Well, Election Commission is taking their own measures. But at the same time, we, the people, should also be feeling little responsible enough, and we should not get attracted by those gifts, because these are the leaders who are going to serve us in the future. So you have to decide wisely that who is the correct candidate who will help you in the times of your needs. Now children, talking about the laws, as said earlier, all the laws are not made by the Parliament. Some laws are made by the Parliament, whereas some laws are made by the State Legislative Assembly, and some laws are made by the both. Now let us learn about the laws which are made by the Parliament, and that will come under the central list. These comprises of the subjects on which the laws can be made only by the Parliament. There are many subjects on which only Parliament can make the laws, and these laws will apply to the whole country. For example, our country has a common currency, that is the rupee. So any law relating to money and banking can only be made by Parliament. Similarly, we must have some common rules and regulations for the telephone and the postal system also. And another subject which is under the control of the Parliament is the country's defense. All the laws relating to the military forces and defense can only be made by the Parliament. So these are some of the areas, children, where the Parliament will be making the laws. Now let us learn about the laws which are made by the State Legislative Assembly, which comes under the state list. And the subjects on which the State Legislative Assembly can make the laws is about the laws related to the public transport. That is, how much people can afford for transportation of goods and people. Bus fares for both private and government buses is fixed by the state government. Each state has its own laws for the fixation and the revision of the transport charges. It is the responsibility of the state to ensure proper connectivity of roads within its boundaries. Therefore, the construction and maintenance of all roads other than national highways is to be done by the state. And other important subjects that are the responsibility of the state government are agriculture, irrigation, police and healthcare. They all come under the state list. Now talking about the concurrent list, children, it comprises of the subject on which the laws can be made both by the Parliament and the state legislative assemblies. For example, making of the education policy is the duty of both the central and the state government. In every state, you find schools which are run by the central government, such as Kendriya Vidyalayas or central schools, as well as the schools which are run by the education department of the state government. And other important subjects on which both the central government and the state government will be making the laws are those related to factories or industries, electricity, labor, etc. However, if both Parliament and a state legislative assembly can make a law on the subject and these laws clash or contradict with each other, the law made by the Parliament takes precedence over the law which is made by the state legislative assembly. Now let us discuss about the President and the Vice President of India. The President is called as an executive head of the country. That means the laws which are made by the Parliament, children, will come into action, will be implemented by the country with the approval of the President. Now let us see how is this President elected. The President is elected by the members of both the houses of the Parliament as well as the MLAs of all the states. And talking about the Vice President, children, the Vice President is elected by both the houses of the Parliament. Now let us see what are the duties of the President and the Vice President. The Vice President chairs the Rajya Sabha meetings and performs the functions of the President in case of the absence of the President, and the President gives his or her assent for the laws which are passed by the Parliament. So children, I hope the topic is very much clear to you. Based upon our today's topic, here comes your assignment. define the government, differentiate between parliamentary and presidential types of governments, suggest some measures for free and fair elections, explain about the laws that are to be made under concurrent list, why do you think the person of 18 years of age only has a right to vote, and differentiate between the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. So children, I hope the topic is very clear to you and you will be wise enough when you will get a chance to cast the vote and elect your representatives. With this, I take your leave children. Keep learning. Thank you.